This is literally the perfect example of a rabbit hole. This will be a short vid, and it'll come with a small review. This concerns the murders in Delphi. It will read back some very dry data about it, and uncontroversial data as well as pseudo-controversial. 2017, February 13th. It's the 13th of the month anyway. 1:35 p.m., Kelsi German dropped the two girls off northeast of Hoosier Heartland Highway on County Road 300, and I have an approximate location. The roads go parallel, so that's about the most anti-precise thing I've ever seen. There's a section, the section we're talking about is parallel. Fill in the gaps if you have it. Anyway, Libby posted a photo of Abby walking on the bridge about 2:07 p.m. over 30 minutes later. Very simply. A person who is in question here, we're going to call her Cheyenne, arrived around 2:50 p.m. based on a missed robocall about that time was her original guess for the timing. At 3:15, the girls failed to meet one of the fathers, and people started looking for them sometime after 3:15. By 3:30, Cheyenne had stumbled upon a girl at the same area by the Monon High Bridge that she knew. This is something that we find out later. Initially, all she said is she saw two people there, and she didn't include this person in her description of what happened that day. And judging by the very defensive responses she gave after being harassed by witch hunters and wannabe sleuths, it's understandable. I'm sorry, you can't exist on the internet and not see people do that, so I'm going to qualify that as okay, her not wanting to apply something else. This person named Cheyenne, or a certain person with the same screen name, posted the pics she took of the bridge, two of them, that are linked below as imager.com/a6 something and 5w something. Those aren't the original images. They were stored on apparently Facebook, or it could have been something else. This is where things get foggy and should not have been. She posted them as she got back to the trailhead at 3:49 p.m., around 3:50. Now, because 3:50 and 2:50 p.m., when the robocall happened, are similar numbers or similar timings, she might have got them confused and might have stated them a different way later on, mixing up. By 4 p.m., Cheyenne had left the area after around 70 minutes. If she drove 1.5 to 21 miles, don't ask me why, to get there, or from there back, and she had walked back and forth over a mile of the trail to get back and forth over the bridge over a fairly long distance, it could have taken her 45 to 61 minutes of timing to get back to a location with better connection, or maybe she did it out in the parking lot or wherever she parked. This would place the exit time at a minimum timing of 3:35 p.m. to 3:51 p.m. She stated she got to be able to post this around 3:49 p.m. That works out almost exactly as the bare minimum, or about the same. It could also be the timing when the image was taken. I'm going to interrupt myself here. Everyone needs to make a vow that they're never, ever, ever going to take a photo without posting it immediately in a visible way. It can be unlisted on the internet somewhere, and you have to archive it, but you need to make it to where you have absolute time and date stamps for every photo. It's critical, and everybody's figured this out. Needs to take the pledge. I will post all images that I make in such a way that they're unambiguously time and date stamped, and location stamped if you're willing to put up with the privacy violation. If you're taking a picture of some intersection, it's obvious where the photo was taken from. Timing, you might want to post it, but you don't have to, but please do. A lot of these problems would go away, and also then archive them, especially if you're only going to see them. We don't have any archives of this conversation. I've dug as deep as I can, unless anybody else has the archives. And also, a lot of people very inconveniently took screenshots that didn't include the time and date stamps of any kind, in any way. By 5:30 p.m., the girls were reported missing, and then sometime later, or not, this happened. This is, again, not archived when it was available. This is a long time after the images were on her Facebook as well or whatever. But Cheyenne, Facebook commented a link to the above pics or the pics themselves with the time and date stamp embedded in them. Posted them to someone called Jamie Kelly 76. That's the claim on the internet. A member of the family of the girls and or a friend of the family or whatever. The very likely Facebook page for Cheyenne is blank. There are no archives made of it. They were either redacted and retracted by request by the local police department or not, if there were ever archives, except every archiver I know that would never pay attention to a court order also doesn't list it. Nobody archived any of this, including people who were supposed to be able to during the time. This wasn't missing almost immediately, was it? I'm not seeing investigators or amateur sleuths on the internet doing the basics of, I found something, let me archive that right now. I archive things before I read them. It causes no problem. It takes a minute, max. I can read the page while I'm archiving it in another tab. Her claim and assertions in postings that may or may not have been on there, again, nothing was archived. I walked all the way across the bridge and back. I didn't see the girls at all. I saw a guy when I first got there. This one's left ambiguous about a lot of things. When you first got to the bridge, when you first got sitting in the parking lot. Once I got on the bridge, I saw another couple. And later on, this is a man and woman couple, and she knew them. And again, as previously mentioned, she met someone there, a person she knew, that she did not mention initially because she knew that person couldn't possibly be involved in any of this and or did not want to talk about it. And I don't know who else she knew. She was with someone, she was there, there was another couple, another guy, and then the two girls. And then any one of these people could have been a perpetrator or bridge guy added on for 8 people or more here, at least 6. I only took the trail that led to the bridge. I did not take the trail that leads to the right. She saw nothing unusual and took photos, a couple of them, of the bridge, and that's all we know about. She may have taken more photos. The next day at about noon on the 14th, the girls were found 50 feet up the north bank of Deer Creek and half a mile east of the bridge. Heavy.com posted all of the above Facebook data and the story about the bodies being found, etc., very early at 9:58 p.m. on the 14th of the month, which means this was fresh in everybody's mind at the time. Now, on the 23rd of the month, approximately, sometime before 5 p.m. that day, on or before then, the FBI took over the call center, and coincidentally, the police finally responded 14 days late to Cheyenne's information that she proposed or brought up. Later, she mentioned she was not alone that day, and then all the other information came out. Also, she had info on the cars in the parking area. She probably just took a photo of the parking area, or maybe she had a video recording going, or maybe she was just testing the camera to make sure it worked. She did not say a couple was under the bridge or anybody was under the bridge. She did not state, and she has stated the opposite, saying, I never said I saw anybody under the bridge or whatever. She may have originally said 2:49 p.m. for the image, but shadow analysis confirmed it was around 3 p.m., and the upload time has nothing to do with when the photo was taken. An archive of the data may or may not have retained the raw data from the image. Again, there is nothing really critically hard about doing that. You can just archive it. Archivers that convert it over to some other image file format may or may not retain the metadata, but it needs to be an archiver that will not alter the binary code or the binary nature of the photo, so we can get the metadata. I found no archives anywhere. These are all re-uploads and screenshots of people's TV sets. And at 16, coincidentally, an individual who may or may not be the same person, it's very likely the same person, had planned to someday open up her own funeral home after mortuary science college at one of 2 colleges. This is a mortician who is listed cross-referenced about 5 times to 2 different last names, one being a maiden name. May or may not be related to some other person that's not relevant for this conversation. The locations that that individual and other related names all coordinate to are two physical locations, one 21 miles and one 1.5 miles from the Monon High Bridge entry area near the road. And they're the same person. This is confirmed back and forth. I've done a very exhaustive job banging away at this. But then again, these could be erroneous data sources. And it's very likely a person who was planning from the age of 16 to be a mortician. Okay, now, ending the video. A person provides 2 photos. Has only that one unusual characteristic, being a mortician at one time, or being a mortician now. Planning on doing it since she was a kid. Went out there hiking in the woods, which is one of the other interests she lists over a period of over 10 years here. Goes out there to take photos. Probably had a Facebook page and a bunch of other pages up. Someone finds out about this person. Is able to find the link because the heavy.com had a link to it nearly the next day. This person proffered information to the police and was only interviewed a couple of weeks later about it. Which it makes me furious, but we're not going to cover that right. No one archived the original image files. It's not that hard to do it. It's not that hard to just give me a link. Some of the short version URL links might still be archivable. I need help finding them. I need the original binary image files. But they were on XYZ. The excuses start piling in through the content of people's postings in the comment section. Every excuse for, the best ones have to be, well, I know the URL, but I'm not going to give it to you because it's blank. Right, like I can't dig it out. I dug up a person's history enough to find out that they had specialized knowledge concerning the dead. So, Cheyenne's other name information will unfortunately or absolutely be visible in the links you get. If you really want to dig up this, and the names are variable. But this individual did not make any attempt to hide who she was, and was only trying to protect someone else from being brought into this that she felt very rightfully was not involved in any of this. Next, what really happened to make this person act defensive? The amateur sleuths became witch hunters and started accusing her of some bizarrely complicated process by which she was a co-conspirator in something. Totally not justified for her to fear such a thing. How long did it take them to do it? 3 days. As soon as she was mentioned on Heavy, she probably got just an earful of it. She responded for a few days or weeks afterwards. I don't know, because even the people who are archiving this by taking images and screenshots only redacted time and date stamps, so I can't figure out the exact timing. Kind of coinkydink, all of these people who get accused of being witch hunters remove the time and date stamps so they can change the narrative if they wish sometimes. Well, it's hard to do screenshots. It's even easier, however, to do an archive. These were publicly posted responses and comments. And 80% of this I only got from initial postings within a couple of days after this happened. Okay. Do I believe this person should be treated with suspicion? No, there's no reason to. If you were involved in something like this and you had an image and it was only on your phone and it was only on your Facebook, just delete the damn photo. Why would you post anything? It's stupid to say these things. Well, someone's trying to provide an alibi. The best alibi would be one that's sworn to without a bunch of data that might point to you. Maybe this person uploaded faked images, and at that point it's just stupid. Next, this is also the person that's supposed to have had an image that showed people under the bridge. When you get a reasonably clear version of it, no, there's no people under the bridge. And this person never claimed she saw a couple under the bridge. That is dead. And she also stated proactively, someone said I did that, but I never said there were people under the bridge. I'm getting tired of the misdirection of people ignoring overt statements by someone. I said such and such. Oh, well, that must mean the opposite. Thanks for watching. Have a good day. Good luck with that. That's it for the video. I will include mostly redacted data.